Well, this on? This thing on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I don't hear myself. I don't know how to fix that, but there we go. You just got to turn the volume up. Scoots, I got Scoots in here with me. Welcome to Kentucky Roll Call.
Roll Call?
Yes. I've thought about bringing that back, Scoots.
And you should.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be, I can't be Nick Roush. Nick Roush is one of one.
Nor would you want to be.
Well, that's debatable, yes. But I doing the roll call, that's the first time I've done it over the airwaves like that.
Every time I hear the beginning of your all show,
you expect it?
I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed that I never hear it.
Can I give a hot take on this?
Yeah, give a hot take on that.
I think the opposite. I think you shouldn't do it.
Okay, why is that?
Just because, it's the same thing as whenever the first time I ever covered for Michael for his show,
yeah,
I was I was habitually just subconsciously doing other hosts' intros to start the show.
Yeah,
and Justin came and talked to me. He's like, "You got to find your own. You can't do somebody else."
So what can I do?
It's got to be unique. So I get that that's not like T.J. Walker's intro to the show. I get that's a little bit different, but for me, I feel like you are so much different than Nick Roush. At least for me personally, maybe the listeners think differently. Maybe TJ thinks differently. I think it needs to be something more of your own.
Yeah, so
I don't disagree with that.
What do you think I can do?
I get that you should do something, but I don't think it should be the same thing Nick did.
You should do something.
All right, but what could that be? Can we figure this out in the next 2 minutes? That's a lie. That's a lot of pressure.
Maybe you just slap the microphone really hard. Oh, we already have to do that.
Yeah, we have to do that one already.
What if you come in with like a CATS?
Okay, I like that.
Hey,
what if we could just get Nick Roush to do roll call and we just drop that sound before every show?
Could.
Yeah.
I miss it. There's something nostalgic to me about hearing the roll call.
Hey, clip that. We're gonna use Scoot. We don't need Roush. We got Scoots doing it.
Although I do have several family members and friends that listen to Kentucky Roll Call, and when Roush was on the show, they hated when he did that.
They hated it?
Oh, they thought it was the most obnoxious thing ever.
Well, the only reason I hated it was when we were on road trips together and he was doing the show, especially when we were in Dallas and he had to do the show at 6 a.m. and I get woken up to a roll call and I'm like, dude, we have to do it? We still have to, even at 6 a.m., we still have to do the roll call?
I can't think of a worse way to wake up.
That was, I didn't appreciate that.
Not to mention you're waking up, next to Nick Roush, so I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, just either in the Airbnb, right in the living room, or in the same room. TJ Walker, the sports talker, is out today.
He's out completely?
Yeah, he needs his daughter's sick.
Full shutdown.
In full shutdown mode.
When did this transpire?
That happened. Well, his daughter was sick yesterday, but we got through it. She called. She cried, but only once, right, Matt? And then he was able to come right back after the break. So it all worked out, but I guess he couldn't be in the studio today, obviously.
I was just under the assumption he was running late.
Oh no, he is not coming in today, but that's okay. We have a really fun show with a capital F, Scoots, to get through today. We got KSR's Jack Pilgrim will be joining us in the second hour.
Well, I won't be here for that.
You won't be here for that, but for right now, we got Scoots here. And I got something to talk to you about because you and I really haven't had a chance to talk, and I know people are probably tired of it. It's been 23 days since you and the Indiana Hoosiers, but mostly you, won their first football national championship. Has it settled in yet? Because when you and I talked that day, the day after, you said, I thought it would feel better. Yeah. Has it kind of settled in, and now do you feel it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I was telling you off there before we started, I was sitting there watching highlights yesterday from Fernando's touchdown run. They put out a new video where it's like, what's the word?
Cinematic?
It's very cinematic. Yeah, they added like a musical score behind it.
Like the journey.
Like a hero music type.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So, yeah, no, I've been taking those highlights in, and I was telling you that I still have yet to go back and watch the game. I'm excited about doing that eventually. I haven't done that quite yet.
What was the best game of the season? Like, what's the most rewatchable game?
Illinois.
Yeah.
No question.
Really? Wasn't that a blowout?
63-10. And it was freaking awesome.
So that's the game where they just blew. Were they ranked? Illinois was ranked.
Illinois was number 9 in the country.
That's right, yeah.
And we scored on virtually every drive.
Dang.
It was awesome.
What's the closest game that you guys played in that you could watch? Like I was telling you this, the 2016 Game 7 of the World Series, I'm a Cubs fan. I watched that game and still get sort of anxious and nervous, even though I know how it's going to end, because it was just it felt like they were lucky. Like when a game is that close between two good teams. You just almost feel like we got away with one.
Right.
Was there any game this year for Indiana that was like that?
Absolutely. Penn State. No question about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can't believe I forgot about that one.
That game should not have been close at all. Penn State was decimated at that point. I mean, that was scary. That was a scary, scary game.
But you guys probably still win the title, right? Even if you lose that game.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they're looked at completely differently. I think they carry themselves a little bit differently if they lose that game. And I can't be sure of that. Maybe Kurt Cignetti gets them right back on track where they need to be. I mean, I have to have faith
wakes
at this
them up.
point.
The loss wakes them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe they do just run roughshod through the college football playoff, even with that loss. But you wouldn't have been set up as well. You wouldn't have been the 1 seed. You'd have been probably a 4.
Because they would have been 11-1. They would have won the Big Ten, or you assume they would have still been in the Big Ten championship, right?
But you would have been probably number 5 or number 6 in the country at that point. And if you beat number 1 Ohio State, that doesn't propel you above Ohio State. So you've got a rougher road in the playoff if you don't win that Penn State game.
So you're going to rewatch that one also?
No. That would make me puke.
Really?
Absolutely.
You couldn't watch it?
Even knowing a win, I could watch the end.
Had that great catch at the end and everything?
I could rewatch the fourth quarter. I don't think I could rewatch the whole game. No.
See, if Kentucky ever wins the national championship in football, I think like during the summer, I'm scheduling days where I'm rewatching the whole season.
Okay.
But you're not going to do that?
Maybe I will.
Eventually.
That's a good
You have the rest of your life to enjoy this one.
Exactly.
Or there's going to be so many, you won't be able to keep up with
There's going to be so many.
Do you think Kurt Cignetti wins another one?
Yes.
Wow.
Multiple.
Like he'll win more than one other?
Yeah.
Man. So you guys are the football school now.
I'm telling you right now, Indiana football is not going anywhere for the next 10 years.
And now you got a shark who's investing in Indiana football.
Exactly.
So yeah, probably not. They're probably not going anywhere.
I mean, my thing has always been there was 8 4-stars on Indiana. No 5 stars. Everything else 3-star or less. What happens when Kurt Cignetti starts getting 4 and 5 stars that fit his system? How scary is it going to be then if this team full of chumps just went 16-0?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm glad we got out of the Indiana series a long time ago, so that we didn't have to worry about getting out of it now, because Kentucky would have to, actually. I mean, there's no way with the 9-game SEC schedule that they could play Indiana and Louisville, so you have to play Louisville.
Play Indiana instead of Louisville. Louisville's a bunch of cowards. If I hear the argument one more time, Indiana got out of the series, that game would have been a blowout, Pete. You know that.
So Louisville is a bunch of cowards because Kurt Cignetti backed out.
Kurt Cignetti didn't back out, though. That's
the University
problem.
of Indiana backed out.
When Tom Allen, a high school coach, was our head coach. Yes, that's when they backed out.
Louisville should play Indiana, actually.
I think they should, too.
I mean, it'd be bad for y'all, Matt. I'm here to tell you. It'd be a 21-point game.
If there is one coach in college football that I feel more confident than Jeff Brom in a game against a national powerhouse, there's literally not.
Yeah?
That's Big Game Brom.
Big Game Brom. Hey, so, Matt, I don't think you were with the show when I originally did this, and it's actually fitting for today, because we talked about Nick Roush to start the show. We're going to talk about Nick Roush again.
All right.
He's got a new podcast he's doing over on the KSR YouTube.
Oh, we're going to talk about him?
Another one?
Well, it's the same one, Matt, as we added a couple weeks ago. But
we're going to talk about him in a positive light? That's not what I was led to believe.
Well, you don't have to. But Nick Roush has a new show, and it's called 11 Personnel No Huddle. He's interviewing just other college football personalities. He's got SEC Mike coming on his show today at 3 o'clock, just an hour after we get done here. Be sure to check that out. Well, SEC Mike did not like a segment that we did when Roush was on the show. When I was coming in on Wednesdays, we were doing Weird Wednesdays.
Love this.
And it was I put it on the YouTube, and it was Tennessee and their 20 years of mid. And the Tennessee fans didn't care for it. SEC Mike had something to say to me, very kindly, but just like, what was that about? Back at SEC Media Days. So today I made the thumbnail 20 and crossed out the 20. It made it say 21 years of mid, because Tennessee obviously not very good again last year. And Matt, the reason I brought this up for you is because I went through 2005 through 2025 into 2026. And I got to tell you, like, when you just line up the schools blindly, as school 1, school 2, and you go down their resumes, I know that these are different conferences, but Louisville is the better football school.
All right, let's start with records. Can you hit me with records?
Okay, so I don't have the records counted up, but Louisville has 157 wins.
Okay.
Tennessee has 138 wins.
Big difference.
Kentucky has 123 wins. My argument is almost like, hey, I think Kentucky's closer to Tennessee
Than Tennessee is to Louisville.
than Tennessee is to, like,
Yeah.
Tennessee thinks, and I know because I worked there, they think that they're Alabama. They've just been on a little down streak for the last 2 decades. You don't go on down streak for 2 decades.
Sounds like Indiana basketball.
Yeah. That's actually a fair comparison. And so my argument has been like, no, you're closer to us than you're not anywhere near Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even really Louisville. Now they did make the playoffs last year, 2024 actually. The Music City Bowl was last year, 2025. What did they do this year? What did they do? Music City Bowl again?
They went to another. I mean, obviously another boring bowl.
Clunker bowl.
I like to call it.
Okay.
Toilet bowl.
So when you look at this and you see like the success Louisville's had, and I know they don't play in the SEC.
They went
The
to
SEC conference.
They did go to
the
the
greatest
City Bowl.
conference. I understand. I get all that. But Louisville has gone to Citrus Bowls. They've gone to what are the other big bowls? What's the one?
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl in 2012. You went to the Orange Bowl. You won both of those games. Did you
One
win
of
the
them you
Citrus
beat
Bowl?
Alabama in.
Yeah.
Dominated Alabama in that
Look
game.
at how many losing seasons Tennessee has had since 2005. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 losing seasons
That's
in the
not
last
good.
21 years.
It's not good.
They're a football giant. Are they a football school?
How many losing seasons has Louisville had in that same stretch?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they did go 2-10 in 2018.
And wasn't 3 of those, I think, are under Scott Satterfield, or 2 of them?
Scott Satterfield was he the coach in 2020?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2020 he was 4-7, and then in 2021 he was 6-7.
6-7.
Bobby Petrino led him to 2-10 in 2018.
Yeah, that was checked out, Bobby P. 2.0.
That was he's getting paid for that one, getting his money up. And then 2008 Louisville went 5-7. 2009 they went 4-8. But in between that, they've had 11-2 season, 12-1, 9-4, 8-5, 9-4, 8-5. I mean, again, and in 2023 they were right there to possibly, and they really should have gone to the playoffs. They went 10-4. They have the ACC, or maybe not the play. I'm sorry, 2024. I was saying. I mean, really, I think Louisville's going to win a playoff game before Tennessee does. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
They
have more opportunity.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm the biggest Tennessee hater. I'm so sick of hearing about their football tradition when we have to go back into, the 80s and 90s to talk about. You got to have success sprinkled in somewhere.
It's like Arkansas basketball.
Yeah, you were good for a brief moment in time, Tennessee. You were good for a brief moment in time, Arkansas. I asked you before the show, could you ever imagine a scenario where Indiana won a championship before Tennessee ever won a playoff game? But you said any scenario.
Any scenario. I couldn't believe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild to me. And Indiana is so far above what Tennessee is at.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how old are you?
36? 36.
Okay. Oh, we're pretty close. We're almost the same age.
Took you a second to think about that?
It did.
Yeah, it does for me too. I've been telling everyone I'm 36 for the last 4 months.
Wait till you get older, Matt.
All right, Pat Ball.
He's gonna call you Unc next. But that is wild to me, and I'm interested to hear what SEC Mike has to say because he predicted Kentucky to go 3-9 in Will Stein's first season. Fire Will Stein, Matt.
Isn't SEC Mike the same account that all they did all season and it was just rage bait other conference people talking about? Like, wasn't he the one that made that viral tweet that said preseason number 4 Florida or something loses a close one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
He may have. That may have been SEC Mike.
I think it was SEC
He's
Mike.
pretty good on the social medias.
Who's the one from Arkansas that Roush always talks with?
Oh, John Neighbors.
No.
Okay, no, not
Another
him.
guy.
Is it a football guy?
Kind of a goofy guy. Just an SEC guy. God,
I'm
why
not
can't I
sure
think of
because
his name?
he did an interview with Neighbors when we were at SEC Media Day about covering Calipari, and we recently talked with John when we were down in Arkansas. Are you sure it's not John Neighbors?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Yeah, the dude's got a weird name. He goes by something crazy. I'll have to
Okay.
text Roush.
Roush is on so many SEC shows I can't keep up. So yeah, go look that up, see if we can figure out who it is. But Matt, so would you be willing to say as a Louisville fan, Louisville is the better football program than Tennessee?
In my lifetime, yes.
confident too.
I mean, like you've said it, you already laid out a bunch of the stats, but even through my history of watching Louisville football, I get the SEC was a major powerhouse a lot of times growing up, but if we're looking at just straight, if we're box score watching, right, is what I like to call it, when you're looking just straight statistics, straight numbers, Louisville fans themselves have seen more success out of Louisville football than Tennessee fans have seen out of Tennessee football.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, so final AP rankings in the last 21 years. Louisville has finished in the top 25 6 times, including 2 top 5s. Tennessee 7 times, but none of them in the top 5, mostly mid-tier. Conference titles. I'm sorry, no, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong one here. I'm so sorry about this. I was actually comparing there. I looked at the wrong thing. I was comparing Missouri. So Missouri actually has a very similar resume to Louisville. But Missouri has been a better program than Tennessee.
Woof.
And they're in the same conference. I mean, look at Missouri has played in 2 SEC conference championship games.
When did they join? 2014? 2012?
2012, yes. And since 2012, Missouri's played in 2 conference championships. They've won the SEC East twice, Tennessee 0 times. Missouri has 6 bowl wins. Missouri has 83 SEC wins. Tennessee only has 78. You know who else has 78? South Carolina. Tennessee is on the same level as South Carolina now.
Yikes.
You've already, made the hot takes of Louisville greater than SEC in the past couple of years. I'm going to give you another one. And this is for anybody. If for any reason there's a Tennessee fan out there listening to the Kentucky roll call today, you're going to hate me for saying this. You guys will never win a playoff game with Josh Heupel as your head coach. You just won't. That man does not give a crap about playing defense in a conference that is the strongest on the front line, the strongest on the D line, heavily defensive, very brown nose, get in your face football, which is the SEC. It's what we've always known it as. Josh Heupel tries to play like Pac-12 football out there and score 50 points a game. But then when he goes up against the Georgias, the Alabamas, or even sometimes the Clemsons of the world that are heavy, that we have bigger guys, we're physical, we play better defense, he chokes. Every single time he chokes.
And I actually thought, like back in 2024, the year that they made the playoffs, well, one, I didn't think that the schedule was particularly that hard. But I actually thought that the defense was great that year. Looking at their SEC slate, I don't think they gave up more than 20 points. They gave up more than 20 points one time, and that was in their 36-23 win over Vanderbilt. Which brings up another point, Scoots. Is Vanderbilt now, like, are they approaching, like, in 10 years, who will have the better football program? Vanderbilt or Tennessee?
I'd say Vandy.
You're saying that kind of confidently, too.
Yeah, I mean, their coach is a lot younger. I think he's more competent. I mean, they're going to continue to get guys rolling in. Like, Vanderbilt is probably the closest to Indiana that we've seen in the country in the last couple of years. Like, I don't think we'll ever see an Indiana situation again, but as much as I dislike Vandy and Diego Pavia, they're as close to Indiana as anyone.
Did that just work? Like, did Clark Lee just have something special there with Pavia? Like, can he replicate this kind of success and be in the hunt for the playoffs again?
I'm not that confident in that, no.
But just that Tennessee sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly.
I got it. Somebody on the while you're here, we'll get to the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450, the Gameday Men's Health text line. Somebody texted into the show, please save that clip of Scoots saying Indiana football isn't going anywhere for the next 10 years.
I mean, what do you want to save it for? So we can go back and replay it when we won 2 more national championships?
They want us to bookmark that one.
Bookmark it, Matt. Bookmark it. I ain't scared.
Scoots is going to be on the one shining moment for Indiana football 5 years from now when they have 5 consecutive national championships.
No, I don't think I could be a fan anymore if that happened. Like, this has just gotten too boring. We're too good for everybody. I might have to hang it up.
So another texter in here, I like this one too. Said U of L will never win one either. I don't know if you're talking about a playoff game.
They're talking about playoff games.
Okay.
Because I said Tennessee will never win one.
And I did like their follow-up here. I turn on Kentucky roll call, and I hear a U of L and IU fan talking Vandy football in February. WTF.
Well, I can tell that you just turned it on because the whole time we've been pooping on Tennessee.
Yeah, I like to do that more than anything. working in Knoxville, I didn't really hate them until I was working there. And since then, it's been like the Louisville rivalry was so important to me. And then once I started, it almost lined up also perfectly for when Louisville basketball started to slide a little bit. And then Tennessee got a little bit better in basketball. And it just became really easy to not like them.
I got a question for you, Steven.
Sure.
Like you said, Tennessee is a school that just holds on to their history of football success. Like Justin said, with Arkansas and basketball, it's one that, at least in the past decade, hasn't been too incredible. I mean, like I said, they made the playoff, but they kind of got smoked in that game. They haven't been great. Do you think that if Will Stein comes in and has, it doesn't have to have incredible national championship level success, but if he can come in and kind of start maybe changing that rivalry around to where Kentucky is winning some of those games, you stop hearing from Tennessee fans altogether? Do you think they hold on to being Kentucky's older brother more than a lot of other fan bases would?
Oh yeah. I mean, for one, I don't think Tennessee. Who's Tennessee? They're in a weird situation with like their rivals. Like, who's their biggest rival?
Vandy.
Yeah, but they don't see. They think that
that's now though. I mean, technically they were always big rivals, but Vandy had sucked forever.
They think they were right for most of the time to believe this, but they even still they think like even when they lose to Vanderbilt, we're way up here and Vanderbilt's down here. And so some of their fans will say, it might be, a lot of them want to say their biggest rival is Alabama. But if they were honest with themselves, they would admit Alabama doesn't see them the same way. But then they would say, well, our rival in basketball, at least, is Kentucky. But Kentucky fans, we don't really see them that same way. I mean, I want to beat them, and it feels good to beat them. But we still have Louisville. Like, that's our biggest rival.
Well, and you beat Tennessee every year.
Yeah, and even when Kentucky is having their worst season ever, they still go into Knoxville and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like, they're kind of on an island. There's Arkansas and Tennessee. It's weird. Like, who's Arkansas's big rival? They're trying to make it Kentucky in basketball. They want it to be us. But I don't.
But that'll fade as soon as Cal's gone.
Exactly. And honestly, like, I didn't even feel the same way about Cal and Arkansas going into the game this season. And maybe it'll be different I think it does feel different when Cal is back in that particular building at Rupp Arena.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. Indiana's a bigger rival as that series is going to continue. I think Indiana is going to be the bigger rival again in basketball. It'll be probably Louisville, Indiana, then Tennessee again. And who's in? What's your team? Like, what's the team you hate the most?
Purdue.
That makes sense. I don't even know why I had to ask the question.
But it's very similar to you. Like you said, you didn't hate Tennessee until you worked down there.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Purdue until I had a friend going to campus there, or going to school there, so I went up to campus, and maybe part of it was on me. I was driving a car at the time, and I had it was a Mustang, and I had an IU license plate on the front.
Okay.
And I walk out the night after I stayed up there, and there is a freaking burrito spread out on the hood of my Mustang. And it was that point where I was like, screw Purdue, you all are the worst.
Well, I thought you were going to say they keyed your car, which I guess that would have been a lot worse.
For sure, yeah.
I know that I've heard stories of Louisville, Kentucky fans getting their cars keyed on campus.
See, that's just too far.
Yeah, you're doing close to permanent damage.
Looking back, I was okay with the burrito, and I've even kind of laughed about it since.
Yeah, I even ate a little bit of it. It's pretty good.
That morning, I was ticked. By the way, it was Stingray who I was thinking about for Nick Roush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
that's the show he goes
Stingray.
on from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've listened to this. This is new
Stephen
information.
Ray is the guy's name.
Oh, okay. I've seen that on Twitter. Sure. Wow. The last thing I'll wrap up. I know the texters want us to talk about Kentucky sports, and we'll get to that. We got a lot. We got so much. Like I said, Jack Pilgrim's going to come in. He's going to talk to us about maybe what happened with the Christian Collins recruitment as the RPI has been put in for another school. Joe Tipton on 3 saying Christian Collins is going to go elsewhere. Scoots. Kentucky
Not good.
Kentucky literally might sign 0 freshmen, and for the first time ever, like. It has to be. I don't need to go through all of the years on the, going through 247s or Rivals recruiting rankings to see it. I'm pretty sure they've always signed one guy.
Well, I guess it's a blessing then that the transfer portal exists.
Yeah. Thank God for that. But
I'm out of here after this segment, so y'all can get back to your Kentucky talk. I'll stop my Indiana slobbering.
here's the last thing I want to say about this. Who's Tennessee's like biggest NFL star right now? Like who's in the league? Like because Louisville has Lamar Jackson, Kentucky,
Ray Davis.
Wandale Robinson. I don't know.
Oh, Wandale had a great season.
But like Kentucky fans and Louisville fans, neither of us are claiming to be a top 20 all-time football program. I think Louisville fans who are honest with themselves would say like we just want to maybe go to the playoffs once every 5 or 6 years, and Kentucky fans are saying something similar.
Isn't Green Bay's backup quarterback a Tennessee guy? Malik Willis, isn't he up?
Is he? Okay. But who's their but that's
Well,
not,
Malik Willis is on. He's still on Green Bay. They have Trey Smith, who's an offensive guard for the Chiefs.
Okay.
He's a pretty good guard. I forgot he went to Tennessee. Alvin Kamara.
Okay, I have Alvin
he's a
Kamara.
Tennessee guy?
I got Alvin Kamara written
And
down here.
then there's
Eric Berry, is he still?
I don't think so. Juwan Jennings for the 49ers.
Juwan Jennings. Now he's good.
He had a really good season this year.
Okay, that's probably who it is then.
Where'd Malik Willis go?
Let's go. We got the computers right here. We can look it up. But you would think there would just be from a program that considers themselves a current
Auburn and Liberty.
Huh.
Okay.
Liberty.
I hate those commercials.
So
Especially the one where the guy and the girl talk like,
Liberty,
I use bibbity.
Yeah, it's so
Gosh, I
bad.
hate it.
yeah, that one's not good. Yeah. So anytime we can take 30 minutes, Scoots, to hate on Tennessee, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and sitting in for TJ Walker. We have a lot more stuff to get to. Didn't fully expect to do 30 minutes on that, but that just means we got all of our topics still available, Matthew, to get through for the next 90 minutes. So it's going to be a jam-packed show, a lot to talk about. We will, let's see, what can we get to next, Matthew? Can we get to the, should we talk Kentucky basketball?
See, I feel like that would just be off kilter. Like it would be off brand.
Maybe we'll talk Kentucky basketball when we come back. This is Kentucky Roll Call.
Melodramatic
Back. Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on 1450 96.1 FM. I'm Stephen Peak. Again, TJ Walker out today taking care of his daughter who is under the weather. But producer Matt is across the wall here. And Matt, we didn't do the pleasantries yet. We didn't do. How was your Tuesday?
It was good. Before I tell you this, though, okay, I want to ask a program question just really fast, just for the listeners out there. So I know I just played Basket Case by Green Day on the way out.
Yeah.
As we were going out, I noticed, I was like, there's this noise I keep hearing. This is the clean edited radio version.
Okay.
I bring Justin in to double check it with me. There is somebody in the recording dubbing their own singing underneath it quietly.
Really? Like you're hearing this for the first time
at the exact same time that it's playing. It's like doubled over, and it's not the same artist. It's not like I'm hearing feedback. It is somebody else singing. I brought Justin, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can hear it." So I just want to know if anybody else heard it out there. They can know. I don't want you to think you're crazy. I want to know if I'm crazy.
So is that like from YouTube?
Yes, it's just a YouTube.
And it's okay, but it's not like the official account. Like it's
no. This is just somebody. They have
that's
clean song accounts or whatever. It's just some random account.
I wonder if by doing that they're able to
copyright stuff.
Yeah, because like I'll give you an example. The video that I uploaded from Arkansas, there's just like a 5-second clip where we're in the car and I'm doing like "Forgot About Dre" lyrics, and it let us keep that up there. But if there's like background music playing in the arena, it will flag it, and I have to go in and dispute it.
Oh.
So I wonder if by that guy doing that.
Here, look, I'm gonna play it for like 4 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can hear it.
I'm gonna let you listen to it and tell me. It's not loud, but it definitely is dubbed like directly over top. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Sometimes I give myself the creeps.
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up.
Huh. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think that's probably what it's for.
Are you 100% certain that that's not in the original?
I'm 99%.
Okay, because
I love Green Day. I've heard the song.
I'm sure. Right. And I don't, because here's something that I know that Marshall Mathers does. He goes by Eminem. But Eminem, he'll do 2 tracks of his voice. So he'll do one where he's just sort of going through the lines of the song, and it's kind of monotone. There's not a whole lot of emotion there. Yeah. And then he does a second recording where he's got like all of his emotion and everything. So it kind of blends together well. Is it possible that Green Day does that?
There is a possible chance. Justin just texted me and said it didn't come across on radio as well. So maybe we sound crazy to the people listening, but I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to ask. But you were asking me about Tuesday.
Yeah.
My Tuesday has been really good so far.
It's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, it's Wednesday.
So how was your Tuesday?
My Tuesday was great. It was really warm outside. It was nice. I told you all the story about how I basically couldn't leave my driveway because of how frozen it was.
Yes.
But all that has melted. I've actually gotten to see the leaves now in my yard,
nice.
and it feels like spring is coming. So it's really nice. I know it's going to get a little bit colder, but I've enjoyed it. The dogs have enjoyed it. It's been a fun time. I had a really good Tuesday. It was nice.
Mine was spent mostly, I feel like, on the road on the way back from Murray State. Got to go, as you know, go see my Racers play Northern Iowa. It did not go well, Matthew. It was the worst loss in Murray State. It was the worst home loss in Murray State history, 89-60. They play 3 games this week. They play on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. I guess technically, if you want to be technical about it, that's
a tough stretch after a bad loss.
But oh yeah, and they absolutely need to win. But I was on Western Kentucky Parkway for most of yesterday, and I got to tell you, Western Kentucky Parkway is a time machine, Matthew. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You will drive on that thing I was driving on it for 2 weeks, and then as soon as I got off, only like a couple hours had gone by.
Are you driving 88 miles an hour out there?
Yeah. You get it to get me back to 1985. It's the worst part of going to and from Murray because it's so boring. And I was dreading it we were doing our show, and I'm just like, I can't believe I got to go do this drive again. And I've done much longer drives. It's just how Western Kentucky Parkway is built, and there's like no exits for miles. There's nothing. You got to make sure you get gas at a certain point because you're going to go long stretch without that opportunity.
Is it one of those drives where halfway through you're seeing the Jesus is watching, hell is awaiting signs?
There's several of those.
Is that whatever your religion is, that's fine. But when you see those signs when you're driving somewhere, you know it's going to be a long, boring drive. You know there's nothing else going on in that area.
You're like, hell is real, and you're like, yeah, I know, this is it.
I'm here. I've made it.
We made it. Yeah, and there's like the Louis C.K. is a comedian. He has this philosophy that says you're not allowed to be bored. Like there's an endless amount of thoughts you can have, so you're not allowed to be bored. And I kind of agree with that a little bit. Like I think that there's too much content we have too much stuff that we can watch, and I think that's bad because I read this article, and by read this article I meant I watched this TikTok, and yeah, I mean nobody reads. We watch TikTok.
That's the most 2026 media reference I've heard in my entire life.
Yeah, but the guy explained it really well. I don't know who this guy is. He's not a doctor. He's just some guy. But it said boredom is basically like how your mind stretches. So like if you're just constantly like putting it through the ringer and working it out, like you really need to stretch and make sure like you don't tear something, you know? And so when you're bored, that's when the real thoughts will show up. You know, like that's when you let your brain wander into the haunted house of your soul, like that's when you get to the core of what's like bothering you. Like it's like that. Remember that awkward thing you said in 2006, or like, oh, don't forget that dentist appointment you got in 11 days, or like, you know, hey, it's your brain again. You and everyone you love is gonna die. You know that, right? You know, but you can just sit with that and like but if you can do that and just like sit through and breathe through that dark hallway, right on the other side, Matt, there's ideas and there's creativity. I usually
listen to Mark Pope right now.
Yeah, no. But for real, like, so I was thinking about this, and I wanted to talk with you and TJ about it, but since TJ's not here, I'm just talking to you. And like, I think, like, there's some of the stuff that comes from being bored. You get some of these profound thoughts. So this is one of those that I had, and I thought I only have like 2,000 Saturdays left, which is kind of scary.
That is the most morbid thought I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, because like the way we set up this life, like you get one day off. Let's be real. Like Friday is just like you work most of that day, and so you get Friday night, and then you get Saturday, and Sunday's just pre-Monday. So you only get like 2,000 days. I have 2,000 left. That's if I like make it.
So you're saying like 38 and a half more years.
Yeah, give or take.
Because 2,000 divided by 52 is 38.46.
Yeah, what would that, if I'm 35, what does that put me at?
35 plus 38.
I mean, nobody knows.
73. Yeah, we're not math people on the show.
Yes. But that's, okay, so like, all right, let's say I make it a little bit longer than that. Let's say I get to 8. Let's say, here's what I ended up coming up with in my head. As I sat and I drove in silence for a little bit of this drive, just thinking, okay? Dangerous to do this, because those are the thoughts that come up first. Then I got to figure out how to reconcile that thought, right? So I pictured myself as like an 80-something-year-old man maybe on my deathbed, possibly on the field of battle fighting the AI robots. I don't know. And I thought about how, like, when I'm 80, I would give anything to be 35 and driving down Western Kentucky Parkway bored after a Murray State loss. So I've decided that I'm going to try to live my life as if I'm, like, actually, let's say, 85 years old, but was granted a wish that I could go back in time and experience just one random day as a younger version of myself. And what would I do with that one day? Would I sit on my phone and doom scroll? No, I would be present. I'd hang out with someone I loved. I'd call a relative or a friend. I'd try to warn everyone about the upcoming AI apocalypse. Like, I don't know if this is sustainable, but I'm going to give that a try. Matt, what do you think? Is that a good philosophy about life, or is that putting too much pressure on every day to be something memorable or, not wasting a day?
I think it's a good philosophy, I do feel like I'm talking with Bill Walton on the radio right now.
All right,
though.
I love it. I love that.
I feel like you're about to tell me that you can hear colors and see sounds, because I'm trying. It's one of those where I feel like I'm getting the Stephen Peak shower thoughts just over air.
No, you kind of are.
And
That's what that is.
This is what driving to Murray State does for you. Anybody listening out there, if you're deciding to take a Murray State Racers basketball game, if you're trying to take one in, just be prepared for this kind of conversation. But I agree with you. It's a good philosophy to have. It's the same. It's similar to the question that we've heard 1,000 times of, if you could go back to your kid with the knowledge you have right now, what would you do with it?
Yeah.
And then the combat for that is, okay, well, I'm 8 years old. What physically can I do with it? You know what I mean? Like,
not a whole lot.
Am I gonna go tell my mom to buy Bitcoin? Am I gonna go tell my dad to go buy land in southern Indiana that's gonna explode at some? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
How do you
kill Osama bin Laden? I also like when people do that. They're like, I'd go kill Osama bin Laden, like, just because you have a time machine, you can just walk up and kill the dude.
Yeah, you could.
But no. So you're right. Like, going to Murray does give you those sort of existential, morbid thoughts. So
anybody that's listening that might be of 17 or 16 that thought, gosh, I've always wanted to be a Murray State racer, is genuinely contradicting themselves at the moment.
Yeah,
they're reclassifying.
It's okay. Look, I had a good time. They hooked me up with a lot of Murray State gear. Got to shoot around in the arena. The Murray State coach comes out. I'm shooting in the arena, and I'm like, all right, I want them to think I'm decent at this. Why? I don't know, Matt. But, of course, I miss, like, every shot. I almost airballed a shot from 12 feet out. And then I started getting nervous. And I don't know, maybe there's still the fantasy that, like, a D1 college coach is going to see me hit a few shots in a row and go, whoa.
You're like, James, you can come back. Why can't I?
Whoa. We're actually looking for a 35-year-old.
I'm not even on NBA contract.
Yeah, we're actually looking for a 35-year-old with no prior collegiate experience.
This is the same thing as when you were a kid and you shoot in the driveway and a car drives by. You're like, that's an NBA scout coming to watch me right now. I got to make all 5 of these.
That is true. Stopped and got some Taco John's. I don't know if you've had that before, but
never heard of that place.
Not nearly as good as Salsaritas with their wildly addictive chips. You can visit them on in St. Matthews, Middletown location, Bullitt County. Love some Salsaritas. Not Taco John's though, close second. They're not the exact same thing, but you get what I'm going with there. Matt, did you check out any of the basketball last night? This is a sports show, not a philosophy show, so we'll try to keep it to the basketball. Great games last night. 2 overtime finishes in the Big Ten. Did you check out any of those?
So I was doomed to the fact of, how whenever you're watching a game, you're like, this game is boring, I'm going to switch to another one. Well, I did, because I was like, I tuned into Purdue, Nebraska.
Yeah. Did you change the channel?
I did. I was like, okay, they're down 16 at halftime. They went to the start of the second half. They went up 22 to Nebraska. I'm like, okay, this game's over. So I'm going to switch to TCU, Iowa State, which was still a good game. An ugly basketball game, though. Hella turnovers. Dudes couldn't score. And I was like, okay, like, it's tight and it's close, and, TCU ends up getting the win. Excuse me, sorry. But, so it was an interesting game to watch, and then as soon as I'm done watching that, I go, oh my gosh. Or right when I was in the middle of watching that, I was like, oh, Purdue's come back. And then I switch over, and then Purdue wins. So now I'm upset because Nebraska didn't win. Went over. It's one of those where I kept switching to the wrong game
the
wrong time.
Matt, do you have YouTube TV?
I do have YouTube TV.
You know they have the 4-box, right?
Yes. I actually hate watching games on there.
Is there a dual box? They used to do that, but I haven't seen that recently.
They are, but they format it just like the quad box, so it's like a fourth of your screen.
See, I would like. Can we just do like a half and half?
It's fine when I watch it on, like, if I'm on my PC at home and I'm watching it like at my desk or something, because it's close to the screen, it's fine. But I also don't like that I have to, like, click over to hear the audio for one. It's just like a personal preference. I don't like watching sports that way, unless it's March Madness, where they have, like, the dodeca box and there's like 11 games on at the same time.
Is there not a red zone yet for college basketball? Because there absolutely should be. Imagine, like, if you had this. Because now every game across every conference is broadcasted. I would love to have something like that, where you cut around to some of the best games, best finishes around college basketball that night.
I think that'd be fun. The only thing about that is, I know you're not taking it 1-for-1 copy of Red Zone, because Red Zone is, you wait for the team to get in the red zone, then it switches over.
Yeah.
Basketball doesn't have something like that. But it would be cool if it was, the situation was, if a game like starts getting going, if it was, okay, this team went on a 6-0 run, then switch over to that game for a little bit, just see how that goes, how the other team bounces back. If they did something like that, or it's just constantly jumping back and forth, I think the issue is that college basketball games are so spread out through the week. How many you have to put them all within like a 3-day stretch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For it to be worth.
I see, because there's not
Enough games on per night.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many games on throughout college basketball that you can have. You're just cutting around, showing close finishes all throughout college basketball. I know this is probably for a niche audience, though. You'd have to be a real sicko to be. Man, I'm really excited how this Jacksonville State Tennessee Tech game is going to come down to the wire. But Purdue Boilermakers pull out the 80-77 win over Nebraska ball in Nebraska. Boilermakers are now 20-4, 10-3 in the Big Ten. Nebraska 10-3 in the Big Ten. And then we also had another good finish last night in the Big Ten, that being the Wisconsin-Illinois game. Illinois getting upset in overtime, 92-90. Man, I had this chart here that it's what most experts get wrong about predicting who's going to win in March. And I've tried to look for similarities for all of the national champions throughout college basketball. I think I went all the way back to like 1985. So when they expanded to 64 teams. And 17 of 20 had one home loss or less. So when I start to eliminate some of these teams, like Illinois, how many home losses do they have now?
2 or 3?
I think they have 2.
I think they have 2 because they only have 3 losses, right?
I think they have 4. Yeah, they have 4 now. They lost. Or is it 5? No, they've lost 5. They're 20-5.
Oh, I'm thinking of okay. You're right. I'm thinking of the wrong team.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Iowa State last night because they were fifth in the country. I had their records mixed up.
Gotcha. All right, and then Nebraska, who lost last night, now at home, but to 13th ranked Purdue. They've now lost 3 of 4. And then you have Illinois. They also lost at home to Illinois, so that's 2 losses. Now, so technically, your 7th and 8th teams, I've already eliminated them because they've had 2 losses. In neutral courts, all had winning records, and then 17 of 20 had 1 loss or less in the last since 1985. And I think those are the 2 that really stood out because of just how few losses they would have. I mean, unranked at home, most teams are not losing. 19 of 20 had less than 2 unranked home losses, and most of them, I think, 14 had 0 home losses. So just looking at the last 20 years, actually, I should say. The other thing is, and I always bring this up, Matt, you have to be a 1 seed. You have to be a 1 seed to win the national championship. TJ and I argue about this all the time because there are outliers to that. You can look at the 2023 UConn Huskies it's really you have to get a 1 seed or be Connecticut.
Yeah. Especially this year, I feel like the top 3 or 4 teams are a tier above that 5 to 11, and then the 12 to 16 I think are below those. But I think there's like 3 mountains. There's 1 to 4, there's 2 to 6, or sorry, there's like 5 to 11, and there's 12 to 25, and like that 1 through 4 is so different between that 5 to 11 that I have to almost agree with you here, saying that like if you really want a chance to say that these teams are guaranteed almost Final Four contenders, or if there's a team in college basketball to win it, you really need to be in that 1 seed, especially this season.
Since 1990, okay, that's what, 34 national championships because we didn't have one in 2020. How many champions do you think have been 1 seeds?
You said
there's been 30 out of 34. Out of 34 years, how many times is a 1 seed? Just off the top of your head, without knowing.
27.
Man, you're good. You're not great, but you're good. 25.
Wow.
25 out of 34.
Because I was trying to think, UConn that year. That year that San Diego State was in it, a 1 seed didn't win, did they?
No, UConn beat them in 23.
That was UConn. They weren't a 1 seed, yeah.
So 4 2 seeds have won it, 3 3 seeds, 1 4 seed, and 1 7 seed. So in 34 years, if you were not, I mean, you can just say 1 or 2 seeds have won 29 of them. Only 5 have been won by non-1 or 2 seeds. And I went through and just broke it all down. I've talked with TJ about this actually on this show when I used to come in for Weird Wednesdays.
That feels like so long ago.
I know, it really does. But if you are not a 1 seed or a 2 seed, you have to do something that almost no one else does, and that's win as a non-1 or 2 seed. It's the harder path. It has nothing to do with just that little number next to your name. If you are a 1 seed, you're less likely to play the top seed in the Sweet 16 because a 5, 12, or 13 makes it more often than a 4 seed does. And I know we're using past data to try to predict what's going to happen in the future. But since they went to the net rankings, Matt, which was what, 20, that's been 6 tournaments ago?
Yeah, it's decently recent.
How many 1 seeds have won since, how many 1 seeds have won the last, we'll say, 7 tournaments?
Gosh, I'm terrible at questions like this because I always forget who wins championships everywhere. I'm going to say Florida was a 1, correct?
Yes. They were all 1 seeds that made the final four.
I'm going to say I'm going to say 6 of them.
Yep. You're pretty good, Matthew. You're good at this. 6 of 7 and a 4 seed won it in UConn. Like, I think since they've gotten better with using net rankings, with help, using Ken Palm and if they use Bartorvik, I'm not sure, but they've gotten better at seeding the teams. And that's evident when you get mostly 1 seeds making Final Fours and having a 1 versus a 1 in the national championship game, which is also happening more. I believe in 2024, they had a 1 seed play a 1 seed. In 2025, you had a 1 seed play a 1 seed. In 2021, a 1 seed played a 1 seed. So as they've gotten better at seeding the teams, the 1 seeds are getting through because that's what's supposed to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I know that we like to think of it as madness and that anything can happen. And that might be true for the first round or two in that, like, a 6 can lose to an 11, a 5 can lose to a 12. But it's not really madness when you get to the Final Four. It's actually going to the script. We got a lot more to talk about, and we got Jack Pilgrim coming on here in the next hour to talk some Kentucky basketball. And maybe he'll talk to you about some Patriots, Matt. We'll be right back at Kentucky Roll Call on the Big X 1450 96.1.
we ain't doing yet.
With Walker and Peak.
Welcome back to Kentucky Roll Call here on the Big X Sports Radio 1450 96.1. TJ Walker is out taking care of his daughter today. Like as we said earlier, a little under the weather. But you got me, Stephen Peak, alongside over on the other side of the wall here, producer Matt Chambliss. And joining us here in just a second will be Jack Pilgrim of Kentucky Sports Radio. Just real quick, want to tell you about Gameday Mens Health. They are redefining men's wellness, Matt. Did you know that?
I did.
I know you've heard of this before.
Just once or twice.
Yeah, no shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMensHealth.com. Defining a new era in men's health. Do we have Jack on the phone with us right now?
We do.
Love that. I love having Jack Pilgrim on the phone with me. Jack, how are you doing? We haven't talked in a few hours. How's it going?
I'm way too close to you, Stephen. I'm closer to you right now than my own wife and family. So
yeah, I know. I think I spend more hours with you and with the football guys than I do my own family.
Yeah, and hey, guess what? We get to do it all over again this weekend, going to Gainesville. It's going to be a blast.
Are we flying or driving? Have we figured this out yet?
I am currently looking at the Expedia page as we speak, trying to crunch the numbers and see what's going to work versus what's not going to work. So TBD. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll know and have something booked officially.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got Jack Pilgrim's photo going up on the YouTube stream right now. It's Jack, I don't know if you've seen this photo, but this is of you at the end of the Super Bowl on Sunday. Jack was really nice. Him and his wife, really nice having a bunch of us over for the Super Bowl, but I wanted him to win just for you, just so it'd be a fun party. We all had fun, but it's more fun when the person who's hosting its team wins, right? And then we got Matt over here. You guys both taking the L today, but come on. I mean, you got to see your team playing the Super Bowl. That's awesome. You never get, well, you all get to see teams playing the Super Bowl. I don't. Is the loss lingering, or are you kind of over it by now?
I was very angry yesterday and going into Tuesday. It was hurting a little bit. I think just the reality, like it was so unexpected to get there, but then once you get there, it's like, well, let's just go win the whole darn thing. So I think just the reality of like, oh man, we got demoralized on the national stage, the world stage, and Drake looked horrible, Will Campbell was a turnstile, Jared Wilson was a turnstile, like just nothing was working for us and everything was working for Seattle, and it was just, I wish that my team put forth a better performance. But here today, actually, it's starting to hit me a little bit where it's like, man, we weren't supposed to be there. All of that was icing on the cake for an unbelievable season, and just the run itself to get to that point was so surprising, so unexpected, totally outperformed our I mean, I went into the year saying, hey, if we win 10 games, I would be just over the moon. If we can somehow sneak into a wild card spot, that would be just unfreaking believable. So I think it was just kind of mixed emotions of how the loss unfolded, and also knowing that we have $70 million of cap space and a player coach that everybody wants to play for. Already rumors of Max Crosby wanting to play for Vrabel and a bunch of other fun little storylines. It's like, hey, we're already ahead of schedule as is making the Super Bowl with a 23-year-old quarterback. I mean, there are worse positions to be in. So my anger has turned into all right, let's get started with this offseason. Let's go win some more football games.
Yeah, and maybe it has that sort of 2014 Kentucky feel to it, where it was like, not expecting them at all to make the national championship game. Once you get there, hey, let's just go ahead and win it. And they fall short, but then obviously you build on that and come back with 38 straight wins. So, are you guys going for an undefeated run next season? You're going to try to break the Dolphins' record?
I mean, I can go 38 straight wins, too. I mean, we can go two straight undefeated seasons, back-to-back Super Bowls, if we're cool with that.
Oh, gosh. I'm so sick of you guys. You went away. You were out of my, out of my hate zone for just a couple seasons, and now it's so frustrating being a Dolphins fan, man. I don't know why I chose that. But speaking of other types of adversity, talk about my basketball team and what they've had to go through this season. And you think about, Jack, where this was at December 6th. And the thoughts that you and I had. I mean, I lost my mind on the rapid reaction. I mean, I go back and watch that and kind of cringe at it. Like, I went back and watched recently, and I was like, how bad was this? And I there's some things I wish I could take back, because it hasn't gone. It hasn't been a complete disaster. What are your thoughts on how Mark Pope has handled the adversity this season?
I think he has gone from putting himself on the hot seat to SEC Coach of the Year.
That's crazy.
It's a hilarious turn of events for him. And, I think both things can be true. Every single word of criticism that he received as a coach, as he received as a roster builder, as he received as a, saying all the wrong things, every PR hit that he took, all of it was justified in real time. But if you're going to slam him for all of those very correct things in real time, his team got booed off the floor in Nashville. I mean, that is a very real thing that happened when you lose by 34 or 35 points and get embarrassed, where former players are saying this is a bunch of heartless cowards. Like, yeah, you deserve all of that. But on the flip side, if you're able to turn it around, win 8 of 9, put yourself in position to go win the freaking SEC, and it's going to be a tough stretch ahead, including on Saturday going. Bartolovic has Kentucky losing by 14 points down in Gainesville, so this is not going to be an easy path to a win in Gainesville, to win 9 of 10. But you have put yourself back in that position. You've salvaged the season after hitting rock bottom. So yeah, he deserves all the credit in the world for doing that. It doesn't turn this weekend into a must-win. We're kind of past that point unless he starts stacking a couple losses here down the stretch. But he's put himself in position to say, hey, let's go earn a double bye in the SEC, even if you can't win the league. Let's go earn a double bye, and then let's see how high we can move the seed line. Can we push for a 4 seed? Can we somehow pull off a miracle and win 6 of the last 7, or then go make a run in the SEC tournament, and then go somehow talk yourself into a 3 seed, and then go, how did we go from being on the bubble to a 3 seed? You've at least talked yourself into that possibility now, and I think the fact that you're able to do that right now is worthy of Coach of the Year consideration.
You're tapped into the fan base more than most people, being prominent on KS Board, on Twitter, and going to all the games. Do you feel like, because this season, let's be honest, like it's not going the way that we had hoped back in November, October, after they beat Purdue in that meaningless game. Do you feel like the fans now are kind of giving him a pass on this season again because of injuries and because they have turned it around, winning 8 of 9, and if they are able to win 9 of 10, that would be only the second time that Kentucky has done that in SEC play since COVID. Do you feel like the fans are giving Mark Pope a pass, or do you think it's more like let's evaluate at the end of the season? I don't think he's on the hot seat or anything like that, but I just wonder if there's still people still have their reservations about Mark Pope.
They do, and I think every single time you see a new list cut, or a 2026 kid trending the wrong direction, or one that you had in your hand slip through your fingers, that brings out the worst part of that fan base to say, hey, life is good right this very second, but I'm here to tell you, life sure isn't sweet for next season and beyond either. He's got some stuff to figure out before we can really start buying into his future here. So yeah, I think that's still very TBD. I think he's built up some real goodwill back with the fan base, but they also, being there in Nashville that day, hearing those boos, you were there. That was something that it just lingers. It just sticks with you. It's like, man, that was venomous, and they were ready to run him out of town in that stretch. And to his credit, he turned it around. But I still think there's a part of this fan base that still has that. Okay, well, this roster, even though the season has gotten back to a salvageable point, and the injuries have been what they were. They're losing 3/5 of your projected starting lineup. That's a very real thing. But in general, even at full strength, this roster was not a Mark Pope roster. This offense does not hum the way it should, being led by Mark Pope and by Cody Feger and the masterminds of offense that we thought we were signing up for, that we saw most of the season last go round. So I do think a big part of it is reevaluating those things and saying, okay, you need help as a recruiter. You need help as with a general manager, a roster management guy, somebody who's going to help you with negotiations so you're not spending, $2 million for seventh man on other SEC teams. Like, go build a roster. You might have to lean a little bit more in the Moneyball path that kind of made you famous at BYU and, what you kind of had to do in year one at Kentucky before you could become an established name brand coach. But all of that stuff is fixable if he chooses to let it get fixed. If he can look at himself in the mirror and go, okay, hey, I have too much on my plate. I can't do all this by myself. I need to bring in some help and let me just totally focus on the X's and O's, be the true basketball expert and let everybody else handle everything else. And I can be the face and the brand and the politician-y guy who's going to go shake hands and kiss babies. That would be him to a science. That would be, if you want to say, hey, here's why Mark Pope became a championship-level coach here at Kentucky, that's the path. So I think he still has some questions to answer, and I think they're all fixable, but they have to be answered at some point.
We're talking with Jack Pilgrim of Kentucky Sports Radio. Jack, that's it. I mean, that's my issue, and it was my issue all season as losses were kind of piling up, and it was that I don't think that Mark Pope forgot how to coach. I think that he put together a team that really can't play his style, and now he's having to try to figure it out in real time. And it wasn't so much what was going on this season, but it was, all right, what's going to happen in the future? And look, I've told you personally, I said this is the most proud I have been of Mark Pope and this coaching staff and this team since he's been here in these last 10 days or so, how long it's been since they played Arkansas, when I didn't give them any chance. And I was wondering, coming off that Vanderbilt loss, if they'd win 3 more games the rest of the year, and they went out and won their next 3 games, beating 2 ranked teams in the process. But that doesn't change my biggest concern. I know Mark Pope can coach. I'm done doubting his coaching ability. As far as X's and O's and game planning, I think he's elite at that. I think he's among some of the best, and I think it's only going to get better. However, Joe Tipton, we talked about it a little bit yesterday on here, didn't get into it too much, but Christian Collins, 5-star, one of the top prospects in the 2026 class, 6'8" small forward out of St. John Bosco in California, has a new RPM put in by our guy Joe Tipton of On3 that isn't in Kentucky's favor. Said he's got him going to USC. I know you, obviously, as I see you on the phone with people all the time. You're involved in the recruiting world. Are they kind of out on Collins now, or do you think is there still a chance they can get him, or is this thing just as we've talked to the last few months, as it's kind of gotten away from Kentucky a little bit?
Yeah, I think for all these guys, they're going to keep one foot in the door just to say that they didn't get, because weird stuff happens, as one Jacob Polachek would say, recruiting is very fluid, so things happen, especially in the portal era where negotiations happen and it takes one phone call from one booster to totally change the trajectory of a recruitment. So I think it's smart of Kentucky to at least keep seats warm and say, hey, I know that we're probably not going to land you, but hey, I want you to know that if things fall south with the current group that you're in right now, we're there to strike while the iron's hot. So, I think that's the same case with Tyron Stokes. Like, Kentucky is not landing Tyron Stokes unless things fall through elsewhere right now. Caleb Holt, not happening. Jordan Smith could be a Razorback by the end of the week. So all of their main remaining targets are all trending other directions quickly. Sooner rather than later, they'll be off the board. So, could something weird happen with Christian Collins? Something weird happened on our end to allow USC to get back in the race when USC thought that they were totally dead in the water in this race. So, weird stuff happens. I'm not expecting it in the slightest. I think that feels like water under the bridge. I think that ship has sailed a little bit. So I think that's part of the big picture question that I have. And why is it that we're getting to the closing table with all these guys? Why is it that it feels like Kentucky is in the driver's seat, or at least in the passenger seat for a lot of these kids, and then when it comes time, like, hey, kid's going to be committing to Big Blue Madness, here we come, it's all ready to unfold, and then Big Blue Madness comes and goes, and we don't hear a single word, and then here we are in mid-February, and Tyron Stokes is ready to commit to Kansas or anywhere else. So it's just, we got to get that tightened up. But part of that comes with experience, Stephen. Like, a part of that is Pope has never recruited at this level before. He's never had to deal with agents and former AAU program directors that help steer. If it's not one kid that he's steering, specifically toward Pope, it's the next 2027 kid that he has, coming up the ranks that you got to have and maintain a positive relationship with. That if things are going south right now, you're going to miss the boat on that kid when the time comes as well. So it's a part of that is just, man, you just got to do it. You just got to be in the weeds with this stuff and be in the trenches and know who to keep happy. Which parents, who's running recruitments? Is it the parent? Is it the agent? Is it truly just a straight up money deal? Is it the pro AAU program director is going to be just steering the kid where he wants to steer the kid, and if you piss him off, then you'll never hear from him again. Like, it's those types of things that just come with experience that Pope is very green with, and just needs more time to get the lay of the land, and I think that's probably his biggest struggle right now. That unfortunately turning off a lot of people, if not more people than he is keeping them happy. So we got to make some progress in that regard.
Jack, I know you got a lot of stuff on your plate today. I've got a couple more things. Is that all right? Just two more things. Is that okay?
Two is great.
I'm putting you on the spot right on the air. You can't really even say no, can you? The call can just drop, and then we'll know. To your point on that, it is my biggest concern with Mark Pope. I don't, like we mentioned earlier in the show, I don't think I've ever heard of Kentucky not bringing in anybody into a freshman class. Is there? You've asked, so I think I know the answer to this. I've heard you ask in press conferences, where do they stand with a GM? Because that feels like that has to happen. I think to sort of make me feel better about this and make other Kentucky fans feel better about, the direction of the program, the future of the program. Because again, I'm just going to preface this with, I think Mark Pope is a great coach, and I love his style of play. But you got to have. There's so many. How many freshmen have scored over 40 points this season? And you add Nate Ament to this team, who Kentucky recruited. If you add Caleb Wilson to this team, who Kentucky recruited, this probably really is a top 10 team. It's probably adding a GM at this point probably doesn't really help you for the 2026-27 season. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But is there any movement into getting a general manager, somebody to help Mark Pope put his rosters together?
I do. I do think that he is quickly learning, and this might be a meet in the middle situation where it's not an official GM. Just to, I think the verbiage of that is just really weird to Pope, and I don't necessarily know why. I think he kind of feels like if he names a general manager, that their role is going to somehow, who are these kids reporting to? Are you reporting to me as the head coach, or are you reporting to the general manager who, if you look at other, the professional sports landscape, the general manager is above the head coach. So I think that it's kind of, I don't want to say a power struggle, but it's making sure roles are defined within the front office at the Joe Kraft Center that we're kind of navigating right now. But I do think whatever the name and title is officially, I do think that there has been some progress, and that I've heard a couple more names kind of pop up here recently of, I think the ship has sailed with maybe one or two guys that they had conversations with back in the fall, but maybe some new conversations that have come to light here somewhat recently that have me somewhat intrigued. So we'll see where that goes. I'd rather hear more names than fewer names, and have it be an indicator that Pope realizes that he needs some help. So I hope those whispers continue to pile up, and we hear something sooner rather than later, because I think that is number one issue with this basketball program in the future, and confidence in Mark Pope's future at Kentucky is making sure he gets some added help in areas of absolute necessary growth.
Well, I like to hear that. I like that there's at least he's open to the idea of bringing a GM that he hasn't. And when you've asked him before, it never really sounded like he was completely against it or anything like that. So that makes me feel a lot better. The last thing I would Florida predictions. This could really, like, you win this game, and I'll start dreaming about an SEC championship. If you win this game, I think it comes down to Kentucky versus Florida in Rupp Arena for who wins the SEC. But it's going to be tough, and Florida's playing pretty well right now. What are your thoughts on Kentucky's trip down to Gainesville? First prediction I want you to make is, will we be driving or flying? If you just had to make a prediction right now.
I am working so freaking hard.
I know, I'm taking up your time right now. I feel bad about this.
That 11-plus hour drive to and from Valentine's Day weekend is just a big old kick to the stones. So I'd really, really rather not do that. And I love you, buddy. Like but man, the idea of driving home after a blowout loss, potentially 11 hours in the car on Sunday, makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. So
me too.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure we find a flight, but the clock is ticking. We'll see if we can make that happen. But hey, or we're going to go down there and win that basketball game. It's going to be an 11-hour drive of pure bliss and happiness. So, it could work both directions. Maybe that's the way to savor it and really enjoy the experience of a big-time road win. So we'll see. That it was plenty fun coming back from Arkansas doing the exact same thing. So I'm leaning toward flight. I'm putting my body on the line here and really spending way too much time trying to figure out and get to the bottom of this. So that's the hope. As for the actual game result, I don't think that they're going to go get rolled. I think that this team has grown past that. I think that they have really grown up, especially here in the last week or two. That makes me feel that they're in position to just compete every single time out, and if they're down early, find a way to claw back and at least put themselves and get back in position and give themselves a puncher's chance. So I'm picking a loss, but I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be a performance that we're still proud of. And I'm going to call an 86-82 loss down in Gainesville.
Man, that would be. It'd be a fun game. Be a little devastating to be that close and not be able to close it out. But, if Kentucky's in a close game, that's where I really like having Mark Pope, because he's doing a pretty damn good job in closing out close games for Kentucky recently. It feels like with Mark Pope, you either get blown out or you win a close game. So if it's close, if it gets to within 4 points, I don't know. Maybe he'll pull the right levers to get Kentucky over the finish line. And it would be, and in that case, Jack, if we're driving home 11 hours after a win, because I'm going to tell you, that drive home from Arkansas didn't really feel that long. I don't know if it did for you. I can't speak for you, but I felt like, we got to listen to both post-game shows. That was fun. And just, when you win, you're automatically just in a better mood. So all the other stuff doesn't seem to hurt you as much.
No, I'm all the way in on it. I'd still prefer to have listen to them in my earbuds while we're flying back 2 hours home, knock out 2 post-game shows, an hour apiece, and you're back in your driveway. I am all the way in on that plan, but hey, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you're driving back 11 hours and following a big-time win.
Let's do a sources say from the flight, Jack. What do you say?
Hey, we might not be sitting together, so hopefully our seat neighbors aren't too upset with us screaming to each other back and forth from 7 or 8 rows apart on back in 24 F and E.
Yeah, it makes for a good show. Jack, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you tomorrow, man. See you at Mark Pope press conference.
See you, buddy.
All right. That was Jack Pilgrim of Kentucky Sports Radio. Jack, Matt, let me just tell you, I know TJ asked me something a while ago. I don't know if it was something Nick Roush said or something. I think it was the question he asked Will Stein. And TJ said, is there anything that a KSR employee could do where you wouldn't defend them? And honestly, it'd have to be pretty egregious, because I see how hard everybody works. Jack will cover, he's working until 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, I got done at around 2, and I'll roll over. I'm like, I feel bad, like, going to sleep, and he's still up at the desk working until 5 a.m., and he wakes up at 8 and gets right back to work, and then we got to drive home 9 hours. That dude just never stops. He's always on the phone with parents or agents and then doing all of his post game work and everything. So it's crazy how many hours Jack Pilgrim puts in following and covering Kentucky basketball, and I appreciate him coming on. Matt, do you agree with him on what he said about the Patriots? Has it kind of are you finally like letting that those hard feelings go after the loss?
Yeah, I will go. For me, my situation is a little bit different because I had to watch our team lose. Which shout out Jack, love that he's a Patriots fan. I don't get to know a lot of those in my lifetime, at least from around here. So love Jack for that, but. I had to watch us lose on Sunday, and then I watched Michael Brown put up a historic night on Monday, so it kind of alleviated some of that.
There you go. That helps.
You know what I mean? So it's not the same. I was still upset because as soon as the Louisville game was over and I went to bed, I was like, oh, we still got embarrassed 48 hours ago. So it still was lingering a little bit, but
when you say embarrassed, like you're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Did you really feel shamed by the way the game went?
No, I didn't think so because he mentioned it before. You have a 23-year-old quarterback who, throughout the playoffs struggled. The defense stepped up incredibly. We're bringing everybody back as far as I know. At least all of our main pieces are all coming back. Christian Gonzalez is projected to be the highest paid cornerback of all time now. He mentioned it as well, we have $70-something million of cap space. This is a team that can go out and spend more in the offseason if we want to, maybe bolster that left side of our O-line. Will Campbell will improve. He will get better. He's going to probably get surgery on his ligament in his left leg now that this is over. I think that Drake May is going to have to go through some serious recovery on his shoulder. This is one where they're going to be back as much as, Steven, I know you probably hate to hear it. That's just the reality we live in. Now, do they go back to the Super Bowl in the next year or two?
I do hate it.
I don't know, but I think they definitely will be back. Everybody loves this team. Everybody loves Mike Vrabel. So it's also a little bit of I've seen my team win 6 Super Bowls. So it's one of those where if I was a fan who'd only seen 1 or 2, or maybe I hadn't seen any, it would be killing me. But there is a lot of upside for this team, and I'm just honestly so proud of these guys for back-to-back 4-win seasons. Only team in NFL history to go from a 4-win season to a Super Bowl. It was a miracle season. The one negative, it doesn't have really fully to do with the Patriots. Roman brought it up during his show the other day, and we were talking. I might be cursed.
Oh, really?
This might be good news for all Kentucky fans out there.
Okay.
I might be cursed. In 2025, I watched the Pacers go to the NBA Finals.
No, you're a Pacers fan?
I'm a big Pacers fan.
Okay.
I've been a Pacers fan since 2013. My first ever NBA game was Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron James, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh. When LeBron James and D. Wade combined for 70 points, and and Paul George made me fall in love with the Pacers. I love that Pacers. I loved Danny Green. I love Paul George. I love David West. I love all these guys. I love Roy Hibbert. I watched them go to their first final since 2000. Should have won in Game 7 to beating Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, they were so close.
And then Tyrese Halliburton goes down.
I know. Yeah, that was the big.
So I had to watch that team lose in the finals. I had to watch the Patriots lose in the Super Bowl.
Oof.
So Roman brought up the question is, am I going to have to watch Louisville lose the national championship game? And I told him, I said, this is the only one in that situation where even if they lost,
right,
we went there. We were there. So I told him
you'd hang a banner.
Something is happening. So for the good news for Kentucky fans, I might be cursed. But we have a really good streak with my sports teams right now. So that's the bad news.
Let me ask, does Louisville hang banners for only Final Fours and championships inside of the Yum Center? Do they have an Elite 8 banner there? They don't do that, do they?
I don't. I mean, off the top of my head,
I'm sure they don't.
I can't say I walk in there and look up at it. So off the top of my head, I don't think so.
They do. I think if they did, we would have made fun of it already. I think that they
went to enough Final Fours that they don't.
Yeah, like Tennessee had an Elite 8 banner, and I thought it was like the funniest banner too because, Matt, it says Elite 8 real big at the top, and then there was like a line.
Oh, you're talking about winning the Sweet 16, going to the Elite 8 banner is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they do. I'm 99% sure they do not have any of those.
Okay. So then they put the Elite 8, the Elite 8 banner up. Again, Elite 8, big block letters. There's a line underneath it, and then they put really small, I don't even know what year it was, 2010, might have been 2010. And then they left a ton of space because they were like, well, we're going to go to so many of these. And then they went to one in 15 years. So
yeah, like I said, I'm not one who walks in there and looks at them every time, so I could be wrong saying
you do
that we
put
don't.
coaches polls up there, though.
Hey, we do.
Number one in the coaches poll,
hopefully we get to
2013.
change that really soon. But
Yeah, they should.
I like I said, I don't have it off memory. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say 99% chance no, Louisville does not do.
If anybody knows, 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. Let me know if Louisville hangs.
If
the
I'm
Elite
wrong,
Eight banners.
send a
I'm
picture
pretty
up
sure
and
they
make
don't.
fun of me. That's fine.
And
I don't
honestly,
think so.
you know, and as much as I made fun of Tennessee, like going to the Elite Eight is, I mean, that's impressive. It is. Kentucky's gone to the most Elite Eights of any other school, but I still like it's like just because you've had so much success. I don't know why that means you can't enjoy having success. Like it has to be a Final Four or bust. I don't think Kentucky needs to have Elite Eight banners. I just mean like fans should celebrate. I consider going to the Elite Eight a great season.
It's something to celebrate. It's not something to hang a banner. I mean,
for certain programs, but like okay, Murray State has never made it to the Sweet 16. They've won like a dozen first round games. They've never been able to win back to back. And I know Murray State's a mid-major, but you think about most of college basketball, 300-something schools, how many of them have never seen the Elite Eight? St. Peter's has, but most schools don't. And so, like, yeah, everybody should be proud of Elite Eights. I think once you make it to a Final Four, then you stop, putting Elite Eight banners up. And that's why Tennessee should technically still have theirs up. Because, you have nothing else better than that. That's your greatest accomplishment in basketball.
Like you said, Sweet 16s are nothing to not celebrate, but putting banners up for them is
I agree.
Like for example, 2015, Louisville was a 4 seed in their region, and they only had to play UC Irvine and Northern Iowa to get to the Sweet 16.
But UC Irvine was tough.
They were tough.
They almost beat them, right?
They were like they had that 7'5" guy. Who
Yeah,
nobody
that's right.
could guard, and he was torching us. They ended up winning, but that team, I mean, that was one of those where, kind of like 2012, where going into the NCAA tournament, I was like, this team has no chance to do anything. This team's not great. And then you have Wayne Blackshear's legacy run in the tournament in 2015 leads them to a Sweet 16 against Michigan State, which you're one free throw of Mango Matthewing away from
I thought
beating.
they went to the Elite Eight, I thought.
The Elite Eight is what I mean. Sorry,
Okay.
the Elite Eight is what I meant. They lose to Michigan State in the Elite Eight. Mango Matthewing hits 2 free throws. You send Denzel Valentine home, and you go to a Final Four. I mean, we didn't hang a banner for that, so.
Okay, well, there you go. So it's Final Fours and championships in the Yum Center and coaches.
But I do agree with you that if your team had never made a Final Four before, that's different.
Yeah, like you should have a banner until you should have NCAA tournament appearance banners until you make the round of 32, and then and so on. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an accolade. It's a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
Once you break that wall, you get to the next level. You have to get rid of the other stuff.
Tennessee used to have NIT banners up until 4 or 5 years ago. So
Some
that
schools still count their NITs national championships.
honestly, the NIT was a big deal. I think Kentucky won it in 76 or something like that, and it was still kind of a pretty competitive tournament. But long before that, I mean, it was the premier tournament. The NIT was. All right, we got to take one final break. We'll get to the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450, answer some of your questions. We'll be right back. This is Kentucky Roll Call on the Big X Sports Radio. Call here on the Big X 1450 96.1. Stephen Peak alongside Matt Chambliss, producer Matt Chambliss, I should say. Sorry, Matt.
That's not my last name, by the way.
What's your last name?
Childress.
Childress. I mean, that's crazy.
You-
I've said Chambliss 3 times.
So-
I went to high school with Matt Chambliss.
You said it at the beginning of the show,
Yeah.
and I was in the middle, or not at the beginning of the show. I think when Jack was coming on, and I was in the middle of fixing the stream and stuff, so I wasn't listening.
I've
to your
called you
intro.
Chambliss way more times than I've called you Childress.
And
I swear.
I got a text,
even in personal conversations.
I got a text from Justin, and he said, "You just gonna let him call you Shambliss or Shameless?" And I was like, "He called me what?" And I guess I just was in the middle of doing something, so I wasn't directly listening to you at the moment.
I thought your first name was producer and your last name was Matt for the longest time.
You see a lot of people in public when I meet them. That's what they think.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they just think.
Well,
it's
I
not
feel bad because I should get your name. We work together every day. I should get your name right. And I know it's Childress. I went to school with Matt Chambliss, and so I'll see his stuff on Facebook every once in a while, and so I just get that in my head.
All I'm saying is you never seen me and Matt Chambliss in the same room together.
Whoa, hang on.
Thought about that on the way to Murray earlier.
Hey, I might have to take a phone call. But I'm gonna try to get them to hold off for like the next 17 minutes. But just letting you know, Matt, you might have to steer the ship for like a minute or so. But I think we're gonna be okay.
If I gotta do that. I gotta do that.
All right. So get your text in to the Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health. They are redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMensHealth.com. Defining a new era in men's health. All right. Kentucky is ranked 25th in the AP poll. They're back in the top 25. And Matt, I went and looked during the break. They have been ranked 25th 10 times in school history. And they're 5-5. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games while ranked 25th. They have played Florida, ranked 25th, while Florida was ranked twice. Florida won both of those. First one was in 2013 at Florida, 69-52, and the other one was March 8th, 2014. Florida won 84-65. That one also at Florida. Kentucky has not been ranked 25th since then, since March 8th, 2014. By the way, I don't know if any other schools have a website like this for their basketball programs, but that's the best website, bigbluehistory.net. I mean, it's so cool. And Matt, have you ever been to this website before?
I believe I have.
Okay, if you go to it, bigbluehistory.net, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it will have, this page was made with a Macintosh.
Oh, no.
It's that old. Yeah. And but it's so great.
They still got dial-up modems running the computer that's on that.
I use and they have like a little photo of like the old Mac, like the one they made where they were like gonna make it see-through. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
When you open the website, that little paperclip with the smiley face pops up. Do you guys need any tips?
Yes.
Do you need any help?
Yeah. It's a great site though, and I just wanted to see. I know they have their records and the games they played for each of the top 25 rankings. And so Kentucky 5-5. So something's got to give on Saturday when they take on Florida. And I'm just telling you right now, this game scares me. This Florida team is good, and I know we'll get a chance to talk about it a little bit more with TJ as we get closer to the game. Jack and I, as you heard Jack Pilgrim say, we'll be either on the road or on a flight at some point on Friday. So I think Jacob Polachek will be in on Friday. Him and TJ will be able to talk a little bit more about the game.
He's bringing his table with him.
You
or
should
the
ask
table
him.
Still redacted.
He brought the raisins for the Super Bowl party.
I did see that.
2-pound bag. He brought a 2-pound bag of raisins.
I would have kicked him out of my house.
And he left them there. We were going to challenge him to eat all of them by the end of the game.
Of course he left them there. This is like that joke where it's like, oh my gosh, somebody broke into my car, and I had one Giants ticket. They left 2 more.
Yeah.
Like, you broke into my house and left raisins. You take these things back with you.
No, that guy, man, he's a riot. I brought a 2-pound bag of raisins. But he will be here maybe with the 2. I don't know. Maybe he can pick up a 2-pound bag of raisins and bring them here on Friday. Talk a little bit more about Kentucky basketball recruiting and preview the big showdown in Gainesville. I am excited. I've never been to a game in Gainesville before, so I'm excited to see is it still called the O'Connell Center? I believe it is, but I mean, who knows? That could have changed by now. But I want to see like the Rowdy Reptiles and see what it's like to take in a Florida basketball home game.
Stephen C. O'Connell Center, yes.
There we go.
Don't get banned from that one.
Yeah, no. So they denied me at first, and I was like, okay, what did I do this time? What did I do to the Florida person? I've never covered a football or basketball or baseball or anything game in Gainesville. What could I have possibly have done? And it was just it's a room thing. It was they just needed they're not credentialing video or photographers, and so that's usually what I apply as. Yeah. But then we just did it as a reporter, and then they're giving me a pass.
Okay.
Which I'll be honest, I had a little
security
bit
back there in Gainesville.
I know. I had a little bit of ambivalence about because I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't have to go on that drive now. But I do want to go because this is a huge game. That
you just get denied, and you instead of Stephen P, you go as Peeve and Steak.
Yeah, Tennessee needs to look out for Peeve and Steak here next year. I'm concerned about this matchup. You go through their key players, and have you seen any of the Florida games this year?
I've watched a few of them.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm in like the most versed Florida basketball.
No, either am I.
I've seen it good enough to have an idea.
You're gonna have to help me with this name because I hate getting names wrong. Obviously, Matt Chambliss. I hate it when I can't get the name right. Ruben Chinulu. Chinulu. Okay, all right. Ruben Chinulu is going to give Kentucky all kinds of fits, I feel like.
He's really good.
Like, that's a matchup that worries me with Malachi Marino.
He's a guy that one thing that Malachi, I feel like, has struggled with this year is he's great with his hands and he's great with his footwork. He gets to the spots more faster than anybody. Like, he's super athletic. But when he goes up against a guy that's either his size or maybe a little bit smaller but knows how to use his weight, he struggles. Yeah. Malachi is one of the biggest dudes on the floor, but he kind of plays not like he plays on the offensive end as if he's 145 pounds sometimes.
No, you're right. And he's going up against a guy 6'10", 265, averages 12 points a game and 11.5 rebounds per game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Was that fourth best in college basketball? I think is what I saw. So that's one area that gives me a little concern. You also have who's the forward they got? Thomas, is it Hall?
I think it's Hawk is how it's pronounced.
Hawk.
But it could be Hall. I don't know. That's what I'm just guessing.
I need the pronunciation sheets. When we were in Arkansas, they kept calling Muhammad Diabatu. That was like really. I know that those guys get a pronunciation guide in front of them before every game. Yeah, Thomas. You say it again. Forward. Hawk.
I think Hawk.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't know. That's just me guessing. I have no inside knowledge about that.
That's another one that gives me.
I'm comparing it to like when we had Tyler Shuck. You know, this spell.
Yeah,
similar.
there you go. That makes sense. He's 6'9", 215 pounds. He's averaging 18 points a game, almost 7 rebounds a game, 2 assists. No, this Florida team is good. I actually think like this. When I went through the schedule, and I was a while back after Kentucky lost to Vanderbilt, I said the toughest team remaining on your schedule is Florida, and unfortunately you got to play them twice. But they're still like a 4 seed, 3 seed team. I don't know, man. I can see Florida climbing, and as other teams above them lose, and maybe sneaking into a 2 seed, depending on like what they do for the rest of the SEC. Because you look at their schedule. Obviously, they play Georgia tonight. That's a game that Kentucky fans need to have their eye on because if the Dogs are able to pull off the upset, they are at home. Stedman Coliseum, something like what is? I can't remember what it is. But they play at Georgia, play in Athens. If Georgia wins that game, Florida will have the same record as Kentucky. They will be tied for first along with Arkansas. A 3-way tie, and then that game in Gainesville is basically for first place. But Florida for the rest of the year, so they play Georgia, which I think they'll win. Versus Kentucky, I do think they'll win. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Texas. I mean that's 4 wins right there, 5 wins right there. Then they host Arkansas. Maybe you lose that one. Then they play Mississippi State, and they go at Kentucky. They could lose that one. So really, I mean Florida's going to finish with 4 losses in the conference, at the most 5, and they'll probably be SEC champs unless Arkansas can beat them and match them the rest of the way. So they're good. And I think they've kind of underperformed a little bit this year. They played a really tough schedule. The loss at Missouri, it's on the road in the SEC. The loss to Auburn, they're not very good. They probably should have beaten them.
This is a team that similar to Kentucky, where they're at right now. If Kentucky continues the way they are, and they can possibly move up to a 6 or 5 seed in the tournament. If let's say a miracle happens, they beat Florida twice, and they move up to like a 5 seed, right? I wouldn't hold the beginning of Kentucky's season against them because they found a way to make it work. When they got to the time it matters most, they stepped up.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about Florida. I mean, Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee earlier in the season were horrible. These guys were absolute liabilities on the floor. And the thing is that was the whole point of bringing these guys in, is that you replace the guys that you lost in the national championship team, you reload, and what kept holding them back was the backcourt. And their front court is, I think, the best in college basketball. I think that's where the Kentucky's going to struggle with the most. You need to catch Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee on a bad night, and so far they have been playing out of their minds. I agree with you. There is a chance that with the hot streak that Florida is on, they can move up to a 3. They can move up to a 2 if the pieces fall the right way for them, and they continue the success that we're expecting. But I think these teams are really comparable in the terms of the seasons they've had so far and how they've turned it around. I think that Florida is a step above.
Yeah.
I think at this moment Florida is the best team in the SEC in terms of what we've watched and like the momentum they have, and in terms of finishing the year and who could possibly win the regular season. My pick is Florida. That's how I feel. I think you need to shut down Xavier Lee. You need to shut down Boogie Fland. You need to, if you have to. This is one of those games where somebody has a star player on their team, be like, hey, look, if Cameron Boozer wants to score 40, we're not letting anybody else score. Cameron Boozer's got to be as himself. You have to let if you're going to struggle with this front court, which I know Kentucky's front court has played better as of recent.
Sure.
This is a completely different beast than they've played in the past couple of months.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is like you go back through Florida's schedule. Like Arizona got their first loss this week. They almost lost to Florida. They lost to TCU by 4. They lost to Duke by 1 and UConn by 4. So like all of their losses are really close games. Their worst loss is Auburn at home. They lost by 9. Bart Torvik has Florida winning out, by the way, and he has them as the second best 2 seed.
I don't mind the Bart Torvik rankings. He's usually pretty good at stuff like this.
Yeah, it's the one that I go to the most.
Not a big Andy Katz fan.
Oh, what's Andy Katz? Why don't you like Andy Katz?
I feel like he does the thing that Joe Lunardi does sometimes, and he just watches whoever's popular at that moment and is like, let's move him up. I know everybody else has him as a 6. I'm putting him as a 4.
Just to have one hot take in there.
That's what I feel like he does.
Yeah.
He has some things that I can say, like, okay, that's credible. But for example, almost the entire country right now has Louisville as a 6 seed. Some of them have him as low as a 7, not many. But Michael Brown's 45-point game, I open Andy Katz, he's got him as a 5. And I'm like, I love to see that, but it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? He's also the same guy who at the beginning of the season was listing the top rivalries in college basketball and put Louisville, Kentucky like 7th.
Do you know what Boogie Fland is shooting from 3 in SEC play?
Probably really good.
He's shooting 12%.
Oh, probably really bad.
Really bad.
He wasn't shooting very well at the beginning of the season either.
This person texted into the Gameday Men's Health text line. Florida has played 10 conference games, and Boogie Fland has made a 3 in 2 of them. He's 4 for 34 in conference play.
That is bad.
I did want to check that to make sure that was correct.
Bad.
Yeah, 12%. He was going to be a Wildcat. Is this the first? He didn't play. I don't think he played for Arkansas in that game last year. I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'm pretty sure he set that one out. TJ would know. This is where we could have used TJ today. He did not. He did not play against Kentucky. So this is the first time he's playing against Kentucky after committing to John Calipari and the Wildcats. So that's an interesting dynamic there. But honestly, like, maybe I'll eat these words later, but Boogie Fland is not the reason I worry about Kentucky playing Florida. It's the other guys I'd already mentioned. We also got another message from Patrick Murphy in the Gameday Men's Health text line. This is a good text, and I like what he's doing here. Unfortunately, we can't. If you're listening on the radio, you're not able to see the image, but he shared it. Do you see this, Matt?
I am looking at it.
Okay, you have a 12-hour flight. Where are you sitting now? He's got like a lot of Kentucky personalities. He's got Corey Price and Ray Davis in one aisle, and he's got Drew Franklin, Willie Cauley-Stein in one. And it's basically you pick the seat that you would want to sit in. Now, the one that interests me the most is Matt Jones and John Calipari.
Yeah,
and you can have the seat in between them.
Put on the plane.
Well, if as long as you would promise me that they would talk to each other and not just sit there in silence, that's where I want to sit. I would love to hear those two talk after
See,
everything
I
that
feel
happened.
like it would almost get on my nerves to the point of like when you listen to your best friend who's arguing with his girlfriend at the bar.
That's a good
It's
analogy.
like, dude, we're arguing about nothing. You guys are arguing about Tyson chicken nuggets right now. Can I just sit in silence and watch my in-flight movie?
Who would you sit next to? You also got the Harrison twins down there.
Yeah, I'm not sitting next to them.
Okay.
Probably Ray Davis and Corey Price.
Because you know Corey and you're gonna feel comfortable.
Corey's going to give me
looks
trivia
like
the whole time. That flight's going to be 45
that's a window
seconds.
seat too. So
Yes,
that,
it's a nice seat.
You got to consider that. That's the thing about Matt and Cal. Nobody wants the middle seat. But Mark Pope and Shannon the Dude. I mean, you and Shannon as producers, you think you guys got a lot to talk about.
Shannon's my mom name. I wouldn't do it.
Oh, so okay. So you wouldn't just call him STD?
I probably would.
Shannon the Dude. Yeah. That's a I like stuff like that. They made one not that long ago that had me in there, and I don't want to look at the responses because you don't want people like, oh, I'm definitely not gonna sit to that guy. That guy's crazy, and they wouldn't be wrong. But it's like I don't want to see other people say that. Yeah, so I lost the whole when you're reading something, you're about ready to read it, and then you click out of it just as when that happens.
Yeah,
that just happened.
I do it literally every time I ever host a show. I get in the middle of talking about something I really like, and I'm like, okay, I'll just read this quote for you real quick. Oh, I don't even have it, so I have to sit here for like 10 seconds and have to find made-up words to say over air so I can pull it up.
Yeah, I was just going through some of the Gameday Men's Health text here. This one, I think, is from a podcast listener. Bad Bunny singing the national anthem. No thanks, give me Borat instead. Borat singing the national anthem. How would you feel about that, Matt?
I would think it'd be hilarious because he would just do Kazakhstan's national anthem.
Would people get offended by that?
I think that Borat is well known enough that people wouldn't get offended.
Ooh, speaking of offended, we did not get to the topic I wanted to get to today. Lee Bryce's new song. I like Lee Bryce. Just like I like Bruce Springsteen, and his new song was terrible. Can we just stop with the political songs on both sides, please?
Yeah,
I don't need rich people telling me what to think about their politics. I thought you were gonna play it right there. That'd been great.
No,
All
I'm
right,
not gonna play
it has been a great show. Thank you guys. TJ will be back in studio. Corey Price tomorrow for trivia. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Kentucky Roll Call on the Big X Sports Radio.